Did you know there's a pyramid in the Grand Canyon? But first, do you know why the capstones on the Great Pyramids was removed? It was said they was made of pure gold and you could stand on the top of them and see the pyramids on the other side of the earth. They was removed, but you could see other pyramids from the other side of the planet or earth, and they would transmit to each other. When the pyramid was first finished, a special block covered in shining metal, either gold or electrum, was placed on the top of the pyramid. Then blocks of white limestone from quarries across the Nile were used to cover the pyramid. Around 1797, it's believed an Italian soldier turned treasure hunter robbed and desecrated the pyramids. In a restricted area of the Grand Canyon, there are pyramids and caves full of ancient hieroglyphics and Egyptian relics. Many people do not know about them, as this information has been suppressed by the federal governments for about a century or more. The sky over this area is restricted airspace, and the area surrounding this pyramid and cave on the ground is illegal and treacherous to navigate. And all official reports about this from the Smithsonian and elsewhere have been censored, modified, nullified, or retracted. This still did not stop people from attempting to visit this part of the canyon. Many have been arrested, and some have even died attempting to climb these sacred sites over the years. It had gotten to the point where the government feels it must have armed FBI agents guarding inside the entrance to the cave that is known as the Kincaid's Cave. It was named after G.E. Kincaid, who was the first to enter the cave after retiring from the Marines. He worked for S.A. Jordan as an archaeologist. S.A. Jordan was sent to the Grand Canyon by the Smithsonian Institute to investigate information reported by John Wesley Powell. The tunnel is presently on a cliff wall 400 feet above the Colorado River. In the Grand Canyon, archaeologists estimate the man-made cavern is around 3,000 years old. This cavern is over 500 feet long and has several cross tunnels and large chambers. This was the lowest level and last Egyptian tunnel city that was built in the Grand Canyon. Since the time it was constructed, archaeologists estimate the Colorado River has eroded 300 feet lower. There were many Egyptian relics that were discovered in Kincaid's Cave, one of which was pure gold artifact for the Egyptian king named Khayan. The relic is holding lotus flowers in both hands, which are native to Egypt. This was found in the first cross tunnel of the cave, which was in the exact same location as the shrines in the Valley of the Kings tunnel cities. Before the kings of ancient Egypt began to build pyramids and above-ground cities, it was found that Khayan was a descendant of King Zapnath in Egypt, who may have been Joseph in the Bible. An Egyptian golden tablet was also discovered in the depths of this tunnel city, led by way of Kincaid's Cave. This tablet serves as a history book, including names that began with King Zapnath coming to Aslan, and information about his descendant king, Khayan, coming to the Grand Canyon. These pure gold artifacts from the cave of these Egyptian urns from Powell's cave. These are some of the only historical artifacts from the Grand Canyon on display at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. A lot of them were documented and photographed, but it's said many of them ended up missing or stolen. The first American explorer to reach the Grand Canyon was John Wesley Powell. He worked as an explorer for the U.S. Department of Interior and was the director of the Bureau of Ethnology at the Smithsonian Institution. In 1869, Powell traveled down the Green River to explore the Grand Canyon and was the first person to report any archaeological archaeological information to the U.S. government about natives that inhabited the Grand Canyon in their history. John Wesley Powell discovered what is now called Powell's Cave, and in his writings he writes, "In this canyon, great numbers of man-made caves are hollowed out. I first walked down a gorge to the left of a cliff and climbed to a bench of the cliff. There was a trail, the cliff bench, that was deeply worn into the rock formation, where the trail crossed some gulches. Some steps had been cut. I could see no evidence that the trail had been traveled in a long time. I returned to our camp about 3 p.m., and the men had found more Egyptian hieroglyphics on cliff walls near the cave. We explored the cave and found this shrine and other artifacts that evening. I sent a team member to notify the Smithsonian Institute of our discovery. We continued to survey the canyon and discovered more Egyptian tunnel cities. I estimate in my report that I think upwards of 50,000 or more Egyptians had inhabited the Grand Canyon at one time. They found a lot of stuff. They found a diagram for the Egyptian writing system. When ancient Egyptians came to the Grand Canyon, it was a school tablet used for teaching Egyptian children how to read and write. There were even crypts discovered. One of the crypts was opened in the Grand Canyon to see if there were mummies in them before they were sent to the Smithsonian Institute storage building. Sadly, most of the artifacts recovered have been stolen or missing conveniently. It shows Egyptians was here long before Christopher Columbus. Icelandic tribes have also been here long before Columbus, and even the Chinese. We know that the Chinese have been here long before Christopher Columbus because we have found massive stone-like balls with ancient Chinese writings found from their ships. The balls acted almost like an anchor. It's pretty crazy. You can look this stuff up yourself if you want. You'll find a lot of cool stuff about it.